The display on here is absolutely fantastic. It's honestly one of the best displays on the market right now. It's an LTPO OLED display. It's 120 Hz HDR10 plus. The highlight with the display is that it's a 2400 nits peak brightness. So this thing is crazy bright outdoors. So if you're at the beach or just in direct sunlight, it is a really nice looking display. Google went with a completely flat panel this year, which is fine. I know a lot of people like flat panels because it's easier to put the screen protector on. But I do like the curved panels a little bit, even if it's just a small curve. I feel like it does give it a little bit more premium look to me, but it is what it is. But it's a pretty big phone at 6.7 inches. And what I thought was kind of strange this year is that Google kind of dropped the resolution, so it's now a 1344 by 2992 resolution, 489 for the PPI, which you can't really tell the difference, but I just thought it was kind of weird that they dropped it. Maybe they did it for battery improvements. I don't really know. I thought that was strange. And also, when I first got the phone, I said that the display wasn't as smooth. And I thought it wasn't at high resolution, and I was right. So if you go to display in screen resolution, you can see it'll be by default on this 1080p mode pretty much. So to get the max resolution so it can look at the crispy, you want to put it to 4 resolution. And then also this was on by default screen protector mode. I don't use screen protector, so I noticed that just my touch inputs and stuff like that, I felt like the display wasn't as smooth. So that's definitely something, like if you feel like your display doesn't feel right, definitely turn that on. But this is Google's best display. It's really vibrant, colorful. Like I said, they did a lot of things right. Flat, and it's super bright, and just an awesome display. The next thing is definitely Google's Tensor chip. So this has been a great chip for gaming and stuff like that, especially if you're a casual gamer. Now, it's not as optimized as the Snapdragon ones because they, no 90 frames and stuff like that for PUBG. But just gaming, Call of Duty Mobile, PUBG, whatever else you're going to play, it's going to run just fine. But that wasn't, the thing that I was looking for. This phone or these Tensor chips, I have always had like these kind of overheating problems, especially when I'm outdoors filming. If you guys don't know, I film all my shorts with the Pixel. I was filming it with the Pixel 7 Pro. If it was hot outside, it would just start overheating. I never had that problem if I had the Galaxy or the iPhone. So I'm glad that's fixed. This phone does not overheat when you're filming and stuff like that. And I was only filming at 1080p, 1080-60, and it still was kind of like overheating and stuff like that. Now, these Tensor chips aren't like they're not going to be like the powerhouse like a Snapdragon. They're more geared towards Google's AI stuff. But like I said, it's still a really fast phone in comparison to the iPhone S23 Ultra. It's still going to feel like a flagship phone. And like I said, even if you're gaming, you're still going to have a great time gaming on here. It does not overheat or get hot. I have never had it crash on me playing games. So I'm really impressed with the Tensor chip. That was my only issue with Google's Tensor chip, is if I'm filming, it'll kind of overheat a little bit. Speaking of these specs, you do have 128 gigs of internal storage, and then you have 12 gigs of RAM on the base model as well too. So like I said, very fast phone, multitasking, doing whatever. You're gonna have a really great time gaming on here and just going in and out of applications. Alright, the next thing is updates. So not only do Pixel phones, they're first to get the beta software to try out the new features. So when Android 15 comes out, you're the first to get the beta software, which has always been awesome for Pixel devices. But Google now allows 7 years of updates for Pixels, which is really nice because that's always one of the things that iPhones have had. You can keep your iPhone and know that you're going to get, a good amount of years of update. I think Apple does like 6 to 7 years as well too for updates. So that's really nice that Google did an update on their software policy to give you longer updates with your Pixel. That is something that I thought was a big thing, and I wish they did it for the Pixel 7 Pro and Pixel 6 Pro as well, but currently it's only for the Pixel 8 Pro, from my understanding. Hopefully they change that, but then again, that is awesome. So if you have a Pixel 8, Pixel 8 Pro, you can keep this phone for a very long time. Alright, so next is the hardware. I think this is probably one of the best looking flagships and best feeling flagships. I think this is more comfortable than the S23 Ultra, and it's more comfortable than the iPhone as well too. It's a really comfortable feeling phone, and Google has like this really nice smooth texture on the back. And I absolutely love the way the phone looks. It has a really unique look. So when you look at it, you can tell, you know, this is a Pixel phone from this camera bar here. And I just love the way it looks in the hand, and it's very, very comfortable as well too. So a lot of people don't talk about that, but if you have smaller hands, like dealing with a phone like the S23 Ultra, like this is a phone that I have to put a case on because the edges are kind of sharp. And even though like they claim that they tried to fix it, but it's just a boxy phone. So if you have smaller hands, then you'll notice that these bigger phones with the sharper edges, they're kind of uncomfortable to hold. This phone is very comfortable to hold. It has the smooth edges and just that really nice feeling back. And of course, IP68 dust and water resistant, but I think Google really nailed the design on here. And they got a few like hardware things here, which I thought was pretty interesting. Some people will say it's kind of a gimmick, but you got the temperature sensor on here, which, I mean, I use it to measure like if you have some tea or something, you can like do like the temperature thing or whatever. And yeah, you can do that, or I use it on phones to see like what the temperature of a phone is, so it's kind of convenient for me. But I don't know if normal people would use it. I feel like if they did a software update to include like, you know, doing it on humans. So far I didn't see like a setting for like actual humans on here. But yeah, so that would be nice. I feel like that would be you know, a good use for that. But yeah, the temperature sensor is kind of cool for me at least. And the speakers on here are really great as well too. So speakers at max volume. Crazy amount of bass on that top speaker. Just a really good amount of bass from the top speaker, and you just get an overall full sound with the Pixel. Just sounds really, really nice, really, really crispy. So the speakers are awesome on here. So hardware wise, this is a really nice phone. Lastly is going to be the cameras. Of course, I still think the Pixel takes some of the best still photos that you can find on any smartphone right now. Now, when you compare like the whole camera, like video and all that stuff, then you can say, you know, S23 or iPhone or whatever. But I still think this takes the best stills. And Google has a lot going on with these software with these phones. So they just did an update. You have the video enhancer mode or the video boost, which I don't really like because you have to send the video to Google to process and they send it back. I don't really like stuff like that because you have to back it up to the cloud and all that stuff. But as far as like the editing tools in here, they're really top notch. This is where Google puts a lot of their advertising to like being able to do the portrait blur and the magic eraser. And they added this one thing that I thought was cool where you can change the light on your face. So I'll show you guys. Trying to get a picture of me. And I thought this is pretty cool. But they have a lot of this stuff here. Yeah, the portrait lights. You guys can see I can change the light where the light hits. I thought that was pretty cool. And like I said, you have night sight video on here, which is really cool as well too. And they just have a lot of stuff you can do in the software as far as editing and stuff like that. I really like it. Like I said, I use this to film with shorts and stuff like that. So the pictures are just really nice. It has a 50 megapixel sensor on here for the main, 48 megapixel telephoto, 5x optical, 48 megapixel ultra wide, takes really crispy ultra wide photos, and then shoots in 4K 60 on the front and back with a 10.5 megapixel ultra wide camera. And you're going to get excellent shots. I love the skin tones. I love how Google does the image processing with the coloring. Like I said, the editor and the app is just really nice and easy. And yeah, so I think Google does a fantastic job with the camera and the software. Next, I want to talk about battery life, and battery life is really improved on here, especially standby time. Standby time has gotten so much better on the Pixel compared to the 7 Pro and the 6 Pro. This phone has a 5050 milliamp hour battery, 30 watt charging, which isn't really that fast, but you know, it's okay. And then you have 23-watt wireless charging and reverse wireless charging on here. Battery life is so much better than the Pixel 7 Pro and the Pixel 6 Pro. So I was really happy about that, especially the standby time. So you can definitely get a full day's battery life out of the Pixel 8 Pro. I was really happy about that. And it's probably thanks to the Google, the Tensor G3 chipset on here as well too. So battery life is actually pretty good on the Pixel 8 Pro. So let's talk about the two things that I just did not like when using this phone. I think this phone has a lot of software, weird kind of glitches, and not a lot, but it has to do with like animations and scrolling and stuff like that. So even though I think Pixels are some of the most smoothest devices, but in certain applications like the Play Store, I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's always like this weird little lag when you're scrolling, and it drives me insane. And I don't have that issue on other phones, even if it's like an S22 Plus that I was just playing with, or S23 Ultra, you don't have this weird scroll lag, and it'll just happen in like random Google applications, if you guys can see that. And yeah, it just drives me insane. Like, I do not like that. I'm pretty sure that's like a software thing, because you don't see it in like applications like this, like YouTube, but it just is like random applications where I'll get like a random scroll lag for some reason. Sometimes you get them kind of like in the Google news feed page, but now it's smooth. But yeah, sometimes I'll just get like random lag. And then the next thing that I want to talk about is the optical fingerprint scanner. I feel like if Google's gonna sell us a flagship phone, it really needs to be an ultrasonic fingerprint scanner. I'm just used to the ultrasonic ones on the Samsung phones, and I know some of you guys are like, what's the difference? The difference is like on the ultrasonic ones, you can kind of like lightly tap it, like really quick like that, and it'll go in. But with the Pixel, you just have to apply just a little bit of pressure. And I know it's like, it's nitpicking, but I feel like for a flagship phone, you definitely want to have like the fastest fingerprint scanner. But other than those two things, this is a fantastic phone, guys. Really impressive device. So what do you guys think of the Pixel 8 Pro? Be sure to let me know, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.